My Side of the Mountain, Jean Craighead George. Author's Preface. When I was in elementary school, I packed my suitcase and told my mother I was going to run away from home. As I envisioned it, I would live by a waterfall in the woods and catch fish on hooks made from the forks of tree limbs, as I had been taught by my father. I would walk among the wildflowers and trees, listen to the birds, read the weather report in the clouds and the wind, and stride down mountainsides independent and free. Wisely, my mother did not try to dissuade me. She had been through this herself. She checked my bag to see if I had my toothbrush and a postcard to let her know how I was getting along, and kissed me goodbye. 40 minutes later, I was home. When my daughter, Twig, was in elementary school, she told me she was going to run away to the woods. I checked her backpack for her toothbrush and watched her go down the front steps. Her shoulders squared confidently. I blew her a kiss and sat down to wait. Presently, she was back. Although wishing to run to the woods and live on our own seems to be an inherited characteristic in our family, we are not unique. Almost everyone I know has dreamed at some time of running away to a distant mountain or island, castle, or sailing ship to live there in beauty and peace. Few of us make it, however. It is one thing to wish to go and another matter to do it. I might have been able to do what Sam Gribley does in this book, live off the land, make a home, survive by wits and library research, for I had the knowledge. My father, who was a naturalist and scientist, taught me the plants and animals of eastern forests and showed me where the wild, edible fruits and tubers grew. On weekends along the Potomac River near Washington, D.C., where I was born and grew up, he and I boiled water and leaves and made rabbit traps. Together we made tables and chairs out of saplings bound with the braided inner bark of the basswood tree. My brothers, two of the first falconers in the United States, helped me in the training of a falcon. I had the know-how for surviving in the woods, and yet I came home. But not Sam, I said to myself when I sat down at my typewriter and began putting on paper this story, one that I had been writing in my head for many, many years. The writing came easily. Sam needed a home. I remembered a huge tree my brother had camped in on an island in the Potomac River. A tree would be Sam's home, and I knew how he would survive when foraging became tough. A falcon will be his provider, I said to myself. With ideas coming fast, the first draft was done in 2 weeks. 5 revisions later, it was finished and off to the publisher. Back came a phone call from Sharon Bannigan, the editor of E.P. Dutton's children's book department at the time. Elliot McCrae, the publisher, she said, won't print the book. He says parents should not encourage their kids to leave home. Discouraged, I hung up the phone and walked out into the woods behind the house. As always, when I am in the wildwood, I very quickly forgot what was troubling me. A sentinel crow was protecting its flock by watching the sky for hawks. A squirrel was building a nest of leaves for the winter. A spider was tapping out a message to his mate on a line of her web. Better to run to the woods than the city, I thought. Here, there is the world to occupy the mind. The telephone rang. Sharon Bannigan was back on the wire. She was almost singing. Elliot McCrae had changed his mind, and what, I asked her, had worked this miracle. I simply told him it is better to have children run to the woods than the city, she said. He thought about that. Since he has a home in the wilds of the Adirondack Mountains and goes off there alone himself, he suddenly understood your book. My Side of the Mountain will be published in the spring of '59. From that date to this, I have been answering children's letters about Sam. Most want to know if he is a real person. Some, convinced that he is, have biked to Delhi, New York, from as far away as Long Island, New York, to find his tree, his falcon, weasel, and raccoon. To these and all others who ask, I say, there is no real Sam except inside me. His adventures are the fulfillment of that day long ago when I told my mother I was going to run away, got as far as the edge of the woods, and came back. Perhaps Sam will fulfill your dreams too. Be you writer or reader, it is very pleasant to run away in a book.